did miss last week, Brad, so hopefully you held down the fort, but I'm back and ready because this is going to be a very fun week. Brad, tell us everything. How are you? Or did you like recover after a Saturday football day? What's going on?
Yeah, Illinois sucks. So I had to imbibe to numb the pain last night because I couldn't score Jack Norris squad against Wisconsin, a 3-7 team. Not great, DK, but guess what time it is? It's basketball season, baby.
We can't get there yet. We got to still get through this NFL season. And we're going to go through every single game on the slate today. And then, of course, that Monday Night Football game as well. Make sure you send in your questions, all your last second fantasy football start sit questions that you have for us. We're going to continue to look through it through this entire chat on both YouTube and on the Bleacher Report app. Brad, let's get into this first game because a bit of news. First and foremost, Aaron Rodgers not playing today in this Steelers-Bears matchup. Obviously, the Bears are playing quite well, which makes your Chicago Hearts very excited.
Yeah, look, we're going to see if they're the real deal Holyfield. This seems like a classic letdown spot, and maybe that's my Bears bias kind of bleeding through. But let's bear down, and I'm going to go with Caleb Williams on the over 216 and a half pass yards. I play this up to like 225 and a half. You can get some of those alt lines that are out there, significant plus money. The Steelers may rank middle of the pack and drop back EPAD, Danny, but they've also given up the most pass yards per game on the season, quarterbacks 285.1. So I think Caleb Williams is going to be wheeling, going to be dealing. I think he'll sort of like around 240, a couple of touchdowns, a firm quarterback one, in my opinion. Also love Colson Lovell in this game. Luther Burden's role is growing. Yeah, the Bears have no excuse. They should take care of business against the Steelers.
Yeah, sitting at 7-3 through week 11. I mean, that's pretty impressive. First place in NFC North. Have you smelled that in a while, Brad? I mean, my goodness, being at the top of the pack. But I do think that that defense is a little bit of a sore spot at times.
Yeah,
19th in opponent drop back EPA. So because of that, I am going to look at DK Metcalf, who's obviously been a little quiet in recent weeks, but he is the Steelers' primary receiver, and all they're asking for is 55 and a half receiving yards. He's averaging 55.1. So that's just one extra yard there. I do believe he's going to get it just because of this Bears defense. And Brad just talked about it, or at least alluded to it. A little nervy for the Bears when they're in this position. Can you really believe? So we'll see what happens there. That's for sure. Continue to send in your questions here. We're going to take them from both the Bleacher Report app and on YouTube. But Brad, let's get to that second game, the Patriots and the Bengals, because the Patriots are red hot. 8-game win streak visiting the Bengals. This one should be fun. I think T. Higgins gets into the end zone, to be honest, with Jamar Chase sidelined. He's obviously one of the few bright spots on Cincinnati Bengals team. He's reeled in 35 receptions, 544 yards, and 7 touchdowns this season. You're just asking him to get in the end zone. I think that's the only player that can at this point.
Yeah, or maybe my guy, Andre Yoshivas. So I think he's firmly in the WR3 conversation at 12 team in deeper fantasy leagues. You got 11.7 targets per game up for grabs with the spitter du jour. And one Jamar Chase on the sideline suspended for this game. And Yoshivas, a guy who's lined up in the slot around 65% of the time. He's averaging a healthy 13.5 yards per reception. He's going to get a lot of Marcus Jones in coverage, who's given up a 71.8% catch rate and 109.5 passer rating. So I wouldn't be at all shocked if Yoshivas goes for like 50 plus and a score. And that's why I took the over on his receiving yards prop, which at BetMGM right now is only 33 and a half. So
wow.
Again, if you're looking for flexi sexy appeal, WR3 and 12 team in deeper leagues, look no further than Yoshi. By the way, my favorite character in Mario Kart.
Oh, that's an interesting pick there. Obviously, I like Princess Peach. I know we're shocked there. Gleefully wants to know Jones or Flacco, who should get the start today?
Yeah, Danny Dimes, interesting matchup against Kansas City. Could really come out smelling like a rose, but I tell you what, I'm going to go with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is almost the G word, almost the L word every single game for at least a couple of touchdowns. I think is a Chuck 250 plus as well. I think there's a higher floor there. I can't believe I'm saying this with the 41-year-old compared to Danny Dimes today. It's going to be Flacco.
Happy Comment brings up something really interesting here. He wants to know if he should start Warren or Emmanuel Wilson in flex. Emmanuel Wilson, someone very interesting to pay attention to today, especially with the news of Josh Jacobs being out, Brad.
Yeah, and I did bet on the anytime touchdown market. I think this has to be distinguished by your league's format. If it is PPR, a half point PPR, I'm going to side with Warren because he's probably going to catch at least 3 to 6 balls in this game. As he got to check down Charlie Anderson or there and Mason Rudolph. But if it's a standard league and touchdowns are everything, then I actually go the other way and go with Wilson because I do believe he's going to cross the chalk because the Titans are rubbish.
I hate this update. Bam Knight or Michael Carter.
Oh God, give me a barf bucket right now. I don't feel good about either one of these guys. But if you got any kind of receptions appeal, I would get Carter in my lineup. If it's more of a standard format and touchdowns or everything, I guess Bam Knight. But dude, have a bottom within arm's reach. You're gonna need it.
We're going to continue to go through every single game on the slate, but A-Rod 80 joins us every single week, Brad. It has 3 separate questions in his, so let's just help him out here. Needs to drop 2 and keep 1 between Jennings, Shakir, and Pearsall.
Jennings, Shakir, Peace. He can keep one. I would keep Khalil Shakir.
Okay, on tight end, should he start Hunter Henry or Mark Andrews?
Hunter Henry. It's the Bengals, bro. They give up the most fantasy points to tight ends this year.
And then defense, Raiders, Ravens, Bears, or Packers?
I'd probably go with the Bears, believe it or not. I know the linebacker core is depleted. That is an area that they could be taking advantage of with all the tight ends on roster. But do you really trust Mason Rudolph? I don't. There could be a pick six today.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's continue to go through this. Like, keep your questions coming in. I see them. Giants, Lions, 2-9 Giants are riding a 5-game losing streak. They're facing an NFC North team yet again that has Super Bowl aspirations, but just got shut down in prime time last week by the Eagles. You're going with your guy, mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory Montgomery, Jackals. I'm going to take the over on 11.5 rush attempts. Dan Campbell was asked by the media earlier this week, do you want to get more touches to Dave Montgomery? His direct quote, absolutely. End quote. He only had 6 carries last week. I think he's going to get at least a dozen. So I'm going to take the over on 11.5 rush attempts at a -105. The Giants are dead last and rush EPAD.
Yeah.
And you look at the spread in this game, Detroit's favored by double figures. So this is a ripe time for mandatory Montgomery to be leaned on. So expect, at least a dozen carries. I think he's going to get 60 yards and a touchdown as well. A firm RB2, even in 10-team leagues today.
Yeah, I wanted to get a juicy pick in this one as well, just because I think the offense is going to be rolling for the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs to get 2 touchdowns today. You get some juice on that one. He's had multiple touchdowns in 3 games this season. He had scored 3 times against Washington the week before that very low-scoring game in Philly. So, like him to get on the board. Brad, we got a lot of questions coming in, so I'm going to take a quick break from these games and go to one GT or Sean Tucker.
What was the first one?
Ashton Jeanty.
Oh, Ashton Jeanty or Sean Tucker. Oh, man, that's a really complicated question. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go with Ashton Jeanty. But I want nothing. I mean, nothing to do with Raiders and Browns that we're going to fire off in a couple of picks later on in the show. That game is just trash. I'm going to go with Sean Tucker. The staff has said Grizzard had already come out, and he's the OC calling the shots, and we're going to get him more touches. And the only way Tampa's going to remain competitive tonight is if they, here's a cliche, establish the run. I'm a sucker for Sean Tucker.
Luis wants to know Wilson or ETN.
I'm going to go Emmanuel Wilson. Again, I feel he's going to score a touchdown. I think he's getting a minimum of 60 yards on the ground as well. You look at Green Bay, they're, going to walk off the bus potentially up 10-0 at home in a game they got to have that they want to remain afloat there in the playoff race. So, yeah, give me Wilson.
Actually, since you're talking about Green Bay, let's just get to that game because that's our next one here to talk about. Obviously, 2 NFC North rivals in the Vikings and the Packers. Green Bay is really in that tight race for that NFC North crown, as we talked about with the Bears and the Lions. You already mentioned this, so I'm just going to quickly double down on the fact that I do think Emmanuel Wilson does get into the end zone today. Ran for more than 40 yards and a score with Josh Jacobs hurt. Obviously, he's not playing in this game, so definitely somebody I would pay attention to today. What about you?
I'm gonna go with Aaron. Aaron Jones, revenge game. Going against his former employer, in which he made some fond memories with in Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna hit the over though, and 2.5 receptions. I got a little babysitter's beverages here at a plus 105. You look at Green Bay; they've allowed the eighth most receptions to running back position, 5.1 per game. Jones run around 15.5 times per contest, and he's gone over this in 3 of 6. JJ McCarthy has got to get some confidence underneath the belt, and what I'd just do with some high percentage throws and some dump balls onto some design screens, possibly to a sure-handed running back. So Aaron Jones over 2.5 catches, one of my favorite plays, and yeah, I think he is also an RB2 in 12-team leagues.
Let's get through some more of these questions. We got so many rolling in. Everybody's getting ready for week 12. Let's do some rapid fire ones. Odunze or Pittman Jr.? Ivan wants to know.
Roma Dunze, easy.
Alrighty. Yosivash, Parker Washington, Booty, or Tez if in a pick 2 for Buzz Bomb?
I'm going to stick to my guns. Yoshi Voss for 1. Oh, and I think I'll go Tez Johnson for 2. I like Booty's matchup, but I don't trust the hammy.
A lot of Yosivash today. Him
Yep.
or Adonai? Who do you think will have a better day? Derek wants to know.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be AD. I'm going to go with Yoshi Voss. Again, I wrote about this on thegamingjuice.com. I've been talking about all week. I can't jump off the bandwagon now.
Well, that's funny. Adonai Mitchell, Yosivash, and Cooper Cup is someone else's choice there for you as well. I'm guessing you're still tripling down.
Yoshi, and Yoshi again.
Yeah. All right. Happy Marble, Jennings or Wilson and Flex?
I'll go with Wilson there. I'm assuming that's, are we talking about the Wilson, the running back? Or are we talking about Wilson, the wide receiver? Regardless of your Wilsons, I go Wilson.
Burning Wave wants to know, would you start Caleb Williams or Dak Prescott? This is actually the same question I was asking myself today.
Yeah, and I'll give you the exact same answer that I've already given the audience. Caleb Williams, I think, is going to throw for at least 230 through 240 and a couple of touchdowns, a higher floor for him, and possibly as well a higher ceiling based on the matchup alone.
Kyle Pitts or Mark Andrews?
Kyle Pitts. Kirk Cousins, I know his feet are encased in concrete boots, but without Drake London, Kyle Pitts could be ultimately the top receiver on this roster. Him or Darnell Mooney. I think Pitts is going to be busy.
Well, since you picked him against Cooper Cup a second ago, let's go to Seahawks and Titans, shall we? Because the Seahawks are contending for the NFC West division. Titans are in line for a potential second consecutive #1 overall pick. So that's very exciting. JSN is my pick today, especially in the props market, to go over 96.5 receiving yards. He's surpassed 1,100 yards in just 10 games. He's absolutely crushing it. Titans are terrible. Just focused on the draft at this point. So I do think he'll have 100 plus receiving yards. No problem. What about you today?
Oh, let's pop a cork and have a little Charbonnet all day, DK. I'll take him in the anytime touchdown market at plus 110. I think he's going to run for at least 45 yards as well, working in concert with the tender butt cheek because he pulled a glute. One Kenneth Walker III, who is still good to go, but maybe the workload somewhat limited. Charbonnet getting around 44% of the opportunity share. He's got over 25 red zone touches this season. 6 of those have come at the goal line. I think he's going to splash 6, DK. It's the Titans. They've grown up 14 touchdowns to running back position and 4.74 yards per carry, again, just to RBs. Like Charbonnet, even as a back-end RB2 and a buy-heavy week for fantasy.
Let's get back to some of these questions. Jay May needs to start 2 in a PPR. Odunze, Flower, Shaheed, or Booty?
It's the first 2. Dunze for sure and Zay Flowers. Let's go next.
Booty or DK?
I'll go DK. Again, I like Booty's matchup, but soft tissue issues, man. They always flare back up, and you're rolling the dice if you're going to go out there with a guy coming off a hamstring injury, which cost him multiple weeks.
Odunze or Emmanuel Wilson at a flex full PPR?
Oh, that's a sexy one. I'm going to side with the guaranteed touches here. I'll go with Emmanuel Wilson. You and I are both on the same page, feeling that he is going to splash 6. So, again, stick to our guns.
We got a defensive question here. Should they start Atlanta defense or Raiders defense?
Oh, God. Probably the Raiders defense. Shador Sanders, and I love the hot take artists that are all coming out of the woodworks this week just for clicks. Oh, Shador is going to have his coming out party. Really? Is he now? What have you seen that gives you any indication that he can really take even a baby step forward? I'm reluctant. I think he throws at least a couple INTs today. I favor the Raiders.
Okay, but is that not a fun reason to watch this game as we approach 45 minutes until kickoff? I'm just looking forward to just seeing what he can do. It's a very enticing one for me, even though there's really no reason to pay attention to that game whatsoever. Booty or Jennings, Rob wants to know.
Booty or Jennings, again, the downsides with Booty and the hamstring. It's just one bad step, one pull, and he's sidelined. Give me Jennings.
All right, everybody, keep your questions coming in. We're looking at both YouTube and Bleacher Report app as we continue to roll through these games. A huge one, Colts and Chiefs. This one's going to be exciting. Obviously, no DeForest Buckner in this one. And because of that, I am going to look at Kareem Hunt to have a big game, especially this being the third straight game without Isaiah Pacheco. I think Hunt goes over 54 and a half rushing yards. The Colts really haven't been that great against the run. 27th in EPA per carry allowed to opposing running backs. I don't think he's going to blow this one out of the water, but he's played more than 80% of the snaps in each of his first two games without Pacheco in the game. I think the fact that Buckner's not in there, even when he is in there, they haven't been great against the run. So something to pay attention to, at least on the Colts side of things, or excuse me, at least on the Chiefs side of things. What about you?
I'm going to stay on the KC side of things. I'm going to go with Mr. Taylor Swift, and I think he's going to shake it off there. And Travis Kelce, 60 plus receiving yards at a plus 125 is what I got it at. I think you can get it right now at plus 100. Regardless of you're debating whether or not to start him, I think it's practically must-start material. The Colts are outstanding outside the numbers and coverage. That's why they're number 6 in dropback EP80, but they've been vulnerable across the middle where Kelce typically operates. They've given up the third most yards to the tight end position. I mean, Kelce's averaging north of 60 yards per game. You're going to be plus money for him to hit his average? Yeah, take my money, please. I'm in on that.
This Jets-Ravens game is going to be interesting too. Ravens obviously trying to climb back into the AFC playoff picture. Tyrod Taylor under center in this game as well. What do you think?
Tyrod's an upgrade over Justin Fields. And the accuracy numbers play that out. He's number 3 among qualifying quarterbacks, and adjusted completion percentage is tracked at PFF. I like John Mechie on the over 2.5 receptions. He ran 24 routes last week, and that loss in New England. Caught 3 balls for 45 yards. I could be sneaky effective. So I know there's some people out there throwing Hail Mary heaves and like 16, 18, 20 team leagues. I feel your pain. John Mechie might be sipping pina coladas in the free agent pool. Cast a line. He might get you like 7 to 9 PPR points. And guess what? In that kind of format, you'll take it.
Yeah, well, I'll take the security blanket for Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews to get into the end zone today, too. It's pretty juicy at plus 145. I do think that he's a bit of a touchdown machine there for Baltimore. Let's get to some more of these questions. Frank Lee wants to know Hurts or Goff today?
I'm going to go with Jared Goff. I mean, the downside with Hurts is you're going to get a city of brotherly shove, a tush push in the end zone. You might, but I think you've got a much higher floor with Goffle. I think he's going to go for at least 270 and a couple scores.
Tootin or Charbonnet?
Charbonnet all day, baby. Again, I picked him anytime touchdown. That will be the difference over Bayshaw Tootin.
All Pro All Day wants to know who to start at flex. Rashad White, Downs, Ferguson, or Monangai?
I'm going to go with Ferguson here. Look, Philadelphia is outstanding versus the pass. We know that they're inside the top 10 in drop back EP80, but they're going to be having their hands full trying to contain CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. So what could that leave open the middle of the field possibly? And usually in the red zone, Dak Prescott doesn't only have eyes for Ferguson, but he's certainly one of his primary weapons of choice. So give me Jake Ferguson.
Don't worry, we're seeing questions on both Bleacher Report app and on YouTube. Ravens Superfan wants to know Michael Wilson or Darnell Mooney for full PPR league.
I have these guys similarly ranked this week. Ever so slight edge to Michael Wilson because Jacoby Brissett don't give two flying you know what, and is completing passes all over the field, and he's kind of falling head over heels. I'm in love with the Bridezilla, but also Michael Wilson.
Super Dave, another full PPR. You have to pick one, Brad. Burden, Carter, Fannin, Strange.
Not Strange, not Fannin, not Carter. Option number 1, Luther Burden. Good luck.
Good luck. Smurf, Dowdle or Williams?
Oh, you had me, Rico Herrera Dowdle. Yeah, I'm going to play Rico Dowdle. I think he's
Yeah,
going to be good for at least 75 yards to the ground. I think he could do some damage through the air as well. High percentage chance, DK. He also splashed a six. So, yeah, Rico Dowdle Monday night.
we're getting some great questions in here, but we got to get through some more of these games. Raiders and the Browns, we talked about it. Shadir Sanders, obviously, all eyes going to be on him. I guess this is just another way to fade him by saying that Jerry Judy's going to go under 35 and a half receiving yards. I'm waiting to see what happens here. Last week, he just
Yep.
caught 3 balls for 21 yards. I don't know if it's necessarily going to improve with Sanders under center. So because of that, I'm going to fade Jerry Judy. What about you, Brad?
I guess I have to pick something in this god awful game. Give me Ashton Genty on the over 3.5 receptions at a plus 130. I roll their shoulders and get seduced by that juice. You look at Cleveland, they're excellent pretty much everywhere defensively. And as a result, because they really crank up the pocket pressure, they're top 10 in that category. I think Geno Smith is going to be a check down Charlie in this game. And Ashton Genty has caught at least 4 balls in 2 of his last 3. He's running nearly 20 routes per game. So at plus 130, it's somewhat enticing him to get 4 or more receptions. He's not going to do jack nor squat on the ground, folks. Barely an RB2 in my estimation, largely because of his contributions in the past game.
Jags and Cardinals. Jags have a chance to push for their playoff spot in this very tough AFC here in this one. But, I've been fading Trevor Lawrence all year long. I'm going to continue to do that because he's 29th in the NFL in expected points added, plus completion percentage over expected. Even this, he cannot prove to me that he can live up to the expectations that are there. So because of that, I just am going to continue to fade him. He's at 215 and a half passing yards. I take the under. Am I a hater? Probably.
No, but you're correct in your assessment because Trevor Lawrence is never going to deliver on the enormous hype. Supposed to be a generational cornerback coming out of Clemson. I've never seen it. He's just been so average. A guy that's not average, and I can't wait to cut the cake with, is one Trey McBride. I'm going to take the over on 72.5 receiving yards at a minus 115. Hell, I think he's going to lead the game in yards, and I took that at plus 135. Why? Well, you look at Jacksonville. They have allowed the 6th most yards at tight end position, giving up a very nice 69.4 to the position this year. Also giving up 7 touchdowns at tight ends. McBride has been killing it. 115 plus in back-to-back games. A magical connection that he has forged, which is Jacoby Brissett, and that continues today.
Johnny is bringing up your guy, David Montgomery. He wants to know if in the flex position, he should go with mandatory Montgomery or Michael Wilson.
Oh man, full point PPR, it's highly debatable. I would probably go Wilson if it is full point PPR. If it's half point PPR or standard, go with Shackle again because I think he's going to find the end zone. I think Wilson could just best him considerably in yards, and the catches will make up the difference for that touchdown, that mandatory score. Regardless, DK, it's what I call a lucky 7 situation. I think it could lose either way you go.
Well, I don't know if people could fully hear because I think your audio completely shut out with how loud you got, but mandatory Montgomery, yeah, Jackals is pretty much what Brad said. Yep.
Yep.
It wasn't a stroke. That was planned.
No.
Diego wants to know Pitts or Algier.
I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts. Algier's interesting, but Kyle Pitts is going to be a point of emphasis today for Kirk Cousins. And the Saints, one of their weaknesses, and they got a lot of them, but especially on the back end defensively, number 25 and drop back EP80. With no London, he may see 7-8 targets, so I'd ride with him.
All right, let's get through some more of these. We're getting closer and closer to 30 minutes until kickoff. Anonymous wants to know in tight end, Wright or Strange? Yikes.
Brock Wright, probably going to be good for around 3 catches. Not a whole lot of yards with Sam Laporte out. I take my chances with Strange in his first game back.
Ivan wants to know DJ Moore or Booty. He knows that Booty's risky, but what do you think?
No, I go DJ Moore. I just worry about the hamstring flaring up. If you want to clack and roll the dice, you want to walk that tightrope on a windy day across the Grand Canyon, be my guess, and then go ahead and start Kayshon Boutte. But otherwise, I'm going to go with a higher floor. What I feel is, hey, Mr. DJ and Mr. Moore.
What about Polly Wally wants to know in his PPR, DJ Moore or Watson?
Now, there I go, Watson. Watson
Okay.
is emerged as a WR1, in my opinion. In this Green Bay offense, they have to win this game. They have to. So they got to show up against Minnesota. And I think Watson's probably going to get you at least 50 yards. Really good shot to find the end zone, too.
I feel like I'm doing that thing that's on social media where it's like you pick one and then you raise the stakes higher. So Robin, Christian Watson, or Jalen Warren.
Now there, I'm going to go with Jalen Warren because I'm
This
going to
is
sign with
fun.
the guaranteed touches. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, you went there. Let's see if you're really going to take that step forward.
Yeah.
Are you really a member? Are you honestly the CEO of Team Huevos, Evans? I'm more Team Raisins in this situation with Watson. I got to go with Warren.
Let's keep it going. Jalen Warren or Henderson. Andrew Casano wants to know.
Okay, well, I'll bandage ship on Warren and go with Henderson. It's
Oh
the
my God.
Bungles. Yeah, look, it's the Bungles. They're horrendous. Look, I know Ramondre Stevenson is back, but I think Trey Young's got to lead this game in rushing. I think at a minimum, you're looking at 70 yards, and I think he's going to find the end zone at least one time, probably catch a couple of balls as well. He's going to be a top 10 running back this week, folks. Play him.
Oh, love this. Henderson or Walker.
Henderson. Oh, and the streak is broken.
It's broken.
Yeah, again, maximize the matchup, DK. I could go out there on a peg leg and probably run for 50 yards and a touchdown against Cincinnati.
Well, I know you just broke that for me, but I had one just in case you had Walker, so I'm just going to use it anyways. Walker or Jett in the flex?
And there I go, Walker.
Okay. Drew Nice wants to know Tootin, Sean Tucker, Kareem Hunt, or Stevenson in a non-PPR league.
This is really close between Sean Tucker and Kareem Hunt. I will go with Hunt. Reluctantly, I think there's a little bit more touchdown appeal there, and that separates, in my mind, enough over Tucker.
All right, we got to speed this up a little bit, Brad. Get through Eagles and Dallas because this is an NFC East battle that is pivotal. I do think A.J. Brown's going to get into the end zone. Once again, if you've been watching every single week, you know he's on my rosters. Therefore, there's a little bit of a selfish pick there in that one. I do think they're going to give the very disgruntled A.J. Brown the ball early and often.
Yep.
At least I'm crossing my fingers that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Squeaky wheel continues to get the grease. I'm going to go with the land down under on Javonte Williams, 67.5 rush yards. Always a threat to find the end zone. I still think he's an RB2 in fantasy, but I think the yards are going to be mitigated because Philadelphia, number 5 in rush EPAD.
Wow. Let's get to Falcons and Saints. Everybody keep those questions rolling in. We're going to take questions throughout this entire thing. We're getting through the rest of today's slate, Bleacher Report app and on YouTube. But Falcons Saints, as if 5 straight losses wasn't bad enough, now they have to turn back to Kirk Cousins, those Atlanta Falcons, for this matchup against the Saints. Drake London sideline, Penix Jr. out for the season. Obviously a little bit of a shortage of firepower there for Atlanta.
Yeah, and I have no idea why this game's being played in the afternoon. I think I'm going to go do some lawn chores instead of absorbing some of these contests. I like Darnell Mooney. I think the full Mooney is going to arrive. I'm going to go with 50-plus receiving yards at a -110. The target share should be massive. And you look at New Orleans, number 25 in dropback EPAD. So take advantage. He's going to pick up the slack with Drake London out. So give me Mooney.
We have 2 more games to get through. Let's get through some of these questions, though. Strange or Otten, Enna wants to know.
Cade Otton, he could be sneaky good. The Rams have been vulnerable against pass-catching tight ends. He's a nickel and dimer. Don't expect a massive yardage yield, but it could be like a 6-catch, 55-yard kind of game for Cade Otton. Ain't too shabby.
Genty and Warren, both guys you've talked about today. R. Johnson wants to know if you had to pick between the two. I'm assuming you're leaning Warren.
100% leaning Warren next.
Let's see. Goddard or Stevenson as flex for I am better than you 3-3.
Stevenson's interesting because of the matchup, but how much work is he really going to get? Dallas Goddard against them boys.
Brees Hall or Emmanuel Wilson?
Emmanuel Wilson. Again, I think he's going to find the end zone. Will a Jet actually cross the chalk? That's debatable.
Smith or Dobbs for Ice Cold Jones?
Smith. Yeah, I go Devontae Smith, assuming that's the right Smith.
Wilson, Watson, or Worthy, which wide receiver should be starting?
Not Worthy. Watson, I think, is going to lead the way. I kind of like Michael Wilson, but the end zone's so elusive for him. So Watson, because I think he's got a better chance of splash 6. So yeah, give me the Packer.
Let's talk about that Sunday night football game between the Bucs and the Rams. This one should be interesting, a high-stakes NFC showdown. Of course, the Rams are surging at the moment, and you think that Matthew Stafford keeps that up?
Yeah, I mean, he's a front runner for the MVP, and this is a showcase kind of game for the 37-year-old. I'm going to go 250 plus pass yards. I grabbed it earlier this week at minus 115. I couldn't believe that number was that low. He's averaging
Yeah.
255.7 on the year. He's number 3 in total air yards, and it's Tampa. They've given up the seventh most pass yards to quarterbacks at 261.2. So Stafford expect multiple touchdowns and expect him to easily race past 250 pass yards. A quarterback one through and through even in your family's 4-team league.
Yeah, well, honestly, Baker Mayfield should be able to throw 250 passes also. His prop set at 242 and a half, but he's gone over 250 yards in 4 of his last 7 games. Obviously, that wide receiver group is quite banged up for him, but even if Chris Godwin's on a snap count, I still feel like you get some chances there for Emeka Egbuka, among other people. I just think that Baker's going to come in, especially in LA. I just feel like he's going to come in with a bit of a chip on his shoulder and want this to be a high scoring affair. But we're going to get to one last game, Brad, here, and then we have so many questions to get through. We're 30
Okay.
minutes away from kickoff. So let's get to this Panthers Niners game. Who are you looking at? Obviously, Christian McCaffrey facing his former team for the first time is very enticing.
Now I'm going to go back to the quarterback market, and ain't he so purdy? Brock Purdy is back, knocked off the rust and dust last week, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns against Zona. I'm going to take the over at 256 and a half pass yards. You want to talk about a beatable secondary? It's Carolina. They're number 25 entering the week and drop back EPA defense. So I think Purdy, much like he did earlier in the season, I think it's like at least 260 and a couple of touchdowns. Definitely a quarterback one, even in 10-team formats.
I think if you have Bryce Young, you should be starting him as well. He
Hmm.
shredded Atlanta, 448 yards. This potential upset threat, don't you think, in this one for
Possibly. Yep.
it's possible because San Francisco secondary ranks 28th in passing yards allowed this season. So I think Bryce Young has a big game as well. There you go. We've gone through every single game on the slate. Let's get through these questions because, like I said, we are under 30 minutes away from kickoff now. So we'll get those questions in on both the Bleacher Report app and on YouTube. Ryan wants to know, start Worthy or Godwin or Slayton in a PPR?
Godwin's going to be on a pitch count. No. Slayton, again, soft tissue issue there. Jameis Winston, maybe. Nah. I'm going to go Xavier Worthy.
Juwan Johnson or Kyle Pitts?
Oh, Kyle Pitts. Not remotely close next.
Skull Gang wants to know Emmanuel Wilson or Kareem Hunt for a PPR.
Emmanuel Wilson. Not all that close either.
Yeah,
Next.
getting into the end zone today. Ferguson or Juwan Johnson?
Ferguson. What are these Jawan Johnson questions? I know it's Atlanta,
You know what
but
it
you
is? It's the
do.
amount of injuries that has happened. Like,
Well, and there's 4 bye weeks, so that plays a
correct.
factor. But it's Tyler Shuck. Like, no, I'm not going to
Uh,
play Jawan Johnson. Stop asking the questions about the tight end.
Nick's Patriot wants to know Mahomes or Goff?
Well, this is a luxury. Are you bragging? Are you in a 6-team league? You need to get more friends, brother, and challenge yourself. Mahomes.
There's a Go Vols in here that gave a Bible quote. I'm just going to say, praise Jesus. We got a win over Florida at Florida yesterday. There's no actual question attached to it, so I'm just going to get rid of it. But shout out. Our prayers were answered. We got a win over the Gators. Eric Dickerson with a CK instead of a Eric with a just C. Loveland, Watson, or Mason or Pierce for a pick one flex position.
I'm going to go with Watson there. It's really close between him and Colston Loveland, whose role is starting to ramp up.
All right, let's get through the last little bit here. Buzz Bomb, Ferguson, or Juwan Johnson?
Ferguson or another Jawan Johnson. Stop asking us Jawan Johnson questions. It's Ferguson. Move on.
Cooper Cup, Parker Washington, full PPR.
I go Parker Washington.
All pro, all day, flex position, DK or Ferguson.
I'll go DK.
Cup or Odunze for Jake.
Really? Is that what it's come to with Roma Dunze? A Dunze.
Judkins, Ferguson, flex full PPR.
Judkins, go with the guaranteed touches.
Awesome. Braxton wants to know PPR, Pierce or DK.
Ooh, rather close. I don't like the downfield matchup for Pierce. And that's pretty much where he makes his hay. I'm buying myself time, DK.
All righty. Wilson, Hunt, or mandatory Montgomery. Help out
Oh my
Lundy.
God. Oh, I mean, they're pulling my heartstrings here. Look, I love mandatory. I really do.
Oh
I think he's
no,
going
you're
to
going
find the
against
end
him.
zone, but he's still splitting carries with Gibbs. I'll go with Emmanuel Wilson.
Okay, Brad, rapid fire. We've got like seven more to get to. Marvin, Odunze, Wilson, Olave, Warren, Montgomery, pick two PPR.
Warren Montgomery next.
All right, Tootin or Stevenson for Volcano.
Oh, yuck. Stevenson.
ETN or Emmanuel Wilson for DZ.
Wilson.
Watson or Mooney for Live a Little.
Watson.
Daniel Jones or Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams, bear down.
All righty, there we go, everybody. That was really fun. Thanks so much for sending in all your questions. You got 25 minutes to get ready for kickoff here on this lovely Sunday. Remember, you can join us every single week here. We'll give you our best fantasy football start sit advice. We hope you have a great time. I'm Danny. That's Brad. We'll see you next week.
Adios.